licensed physician, not giving medical advice, but there's a lot of people on YouTube who talk about anabolic steroids. You got some people on one hand who say like, oh yeah, you just need like 150 milligrams of test and 200 milligrams of test and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You got some people saying, oh no, you gotta run a couple grams, you gotta run like a gram of test, a gram of EQ, a few hundred milligrams of tren. And then, of course, you got other people that do other stuff with a bunch of research chemicals. Yeah, that's what they really are. They're just research chemicals, all those SARMs. So, what is it? Is one group lying and the other telling the truth? And why would I know? No, I think a lot of people know this, but for some reason, maybe you got the people that are lying, and then you got people reacting to the people that are lying, so they want to show the opposite. You don't hear from a lot of people just the complete story. Now, I'm not saying I'm the most knowledgeable in the whole world, but I have known a lot of people that use anabolic steroids, from pro bodybuilders to guys who look like they don't even work out. And as hopefully you know, it's not all about the steroids. That's not to say they don't work, they don't do anything, but there are guys who will take... So you got guys who look like they don't work out, taking more than pro bodybuilders. That's reality. So just because you take a gram and you look like you don't work out does not mean that the pro bodybuilders are taking 20 times as much. I'm not saying that none of them are. Some of them are. But some of them aren't. And another thing is, just because somebody's only taking a certain small amount right now does not mean that they didn't take a lot in the past. Most pro bodybuilders I've met, if they only take a little bit now, took a lot in the past. It's funny, the one guy that I know the best who was a pro bodybuilder, he would always brag about how he uses so little and like, oh yeah, look at what shape I'm in, I only use this much, and all these other guys are using way more. But then he'd tell me about what he did in the past, and then it would come time for him to, like, once in a while he would do like a real cycle. He was always on TRT, always messing around with little bits of SARMs and other stuff. But sometimes he would do his real cycles, and guess what? He didn't use SARMs for his real cycles. That was just a screw around. But his real cycles, it was like, well, he's bumping up the testosterone to like half a gram a week, and on top of it, taking like 100 milligrams of D-ball per day. Or like even 150 milligrams. Or 100 milligrams of Anavar. Or even 150. He liked to actually keep his test low most of the time when he did his big cycles. He'd only take probably like 300 milligrams of test. At least that's what he told me. But he would take massive amounts of like D-ball, Anavar. That was when I knew him. In the past, he said that he tried everything. Tren, EQ, Masteron, Prim, like everything. But he just liked D-ball and Anavar the most. He liked Winstrol also, yeah. But he thought Masteron was a waste of time. He thought Tren wasn't worth the side effects. He did not like Nandrolone because he said it just screwed him up sexually and mentally. He preferred, like I said, Dianabol, Anavar, Winstrol. And he would use all of them around 100 to 150 milligrams per day. Now, I don't think he got blood work done, like, ever. But he seemed healthy. And actually, there's evidence to believe that he didn't have that bad of health, considering certain things happened, and he was able to withstand them without dying or having serious health complications. See, that's a great example, because that's what I find a lot of these pro bodybuilders or guys that are really big are like. They'll often talk about how little they use. And it's true, like they use very little sometimes, but it's like, those times when you use a lot, those times matter too. But that's not to say that there's no big guys who always use a little bit. Everybody's different. So, like, I've met guys that can take 100 milligrams, like 150 milligrams of D-bol per day. That guy just talked about. He can take 150 milligrams D-bol per day, no aromatase inhibitor. He gets no gyno. He doesn't look watery. Well, it's largely because he had probably 5% body fat all the time. But yeah, you would never guess that he's on D-bol. I actually am very astute at noticing water retention and stuff. And I even told him, like, it looks like you're retaining water. You're looking kind of bloated and stuff. And he thought I was crazy. Like, no, dude, what are you talking about? Look how shredded I am. And like, yeah, he looks super shredded. You could see all his muscles, all the little details. But I could notice, like, in his face and stuff, that just things were stretched out a bit more. Even though he's shredded, I could tell that the muscles were holding a lot of water. And actually, when he added in the aromatase inhibitor, he was really glad he did because he ended up feeling better and his sex life improved. But yeah, he's an example of someone that got no major side effects from a ton of estrogen. Now, there's other people that can take 200 milligrams of test a week, 300 milligrams test a week, and they're going to be like borderline in a heart attack because the water retention jacks up their blood pressure so much. They'll be getting gynecomastia, all sorts of issues. Like, really, there are people that basically cannot handle any amount above their normal range without getting massive side effects. And there are people that can go way above their normal range, and they're okay. Yeah, and that's pretty much the gist of it. And also, how well you know how to work your muscles is super important. I've seen guys take, I'm thinking of one guy in particular, 300 milligrams of test, 300 milligrams of nandrolone, probably actually like 350, plus some orals in low doses. And you may be thinking, oh, a gram total per week, that's nothing. But trust me, you give that gram total per week to someone else, it's going to work a lot different. This guy took a gram total per week, practically had a heart attack, and didn't have much to show for it, sadly. Got gyno, lost hair, practically had a heart. I mean, luckily he didn't, but his blood pressure was, the lowest was like 150 over 100, but he got up to like 180 over 110, 120. That's a big, big, big problem. That's not something you just go, oh, that's no big deal. That's a big deal. If you don't have the medications to bring it down, you go to the hospital. You don't just ride it out because you might not be able to. It's not worth the risk. If you have 180 over 120 blood pressure, go to the hospital. And I know multiple people like that. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know people that are related to each other that respond what seems to be the same to steroids, but one of them knows how to work out, one of them doesn't know how to work out. One of them is consistent, one of them isn't consistent. One of them knows how to eat, one of them doesn't know how to eat. If you give steroids to just the average person who doesn't know how to work out or eat right, you're not going to know you gave them steroids, besides that they might have a heart attack or lose their hair or get gynecomastia. Now, you take someone who's been working out for 10 years natural, and you give them steroids, chances are they're going to be able to make some more progress. Now, of course, if you give a bunch of steroids to just a random guy, there is a chance that he has the perfect genetics that, regardless of not knowing how to train, not knowing how to eat, not knowing anything, that he's going to get big. Those people exist. But everybody is just so different. So you can't say that everybody needs 3 grams minimum, or that everybody needs only 300 milligrams, or that the people who say they're only on 300 milligrams are lying, or that the people that say they're on 3 grams are lying. Like, yeah, a lot of people lie. A lot of people lie to themselves. But everyone's so different. Trust me, you take someone who's worked out for 15, 20 years natural. First of all, they'll look better natural than a lot of people will look on any amount of steroids. You find good natural bodybuilders, they're gonna blow 99% of steroid users out of the water. Now you give those good natural bodybuilders just a little bit of steroids, and they're gonna look amazing. And you'd think, oh yeah, they must be on like gram or 3. But really, they're just great natural bodybuilders, and then they got a boost on top of that from a little bit of steroids. So yeah, it's all very different. It depends on the person, depends on the genetics, depends on how knowledgeable they are about their own body, and it depends on the side effects. Just because one person can take 150 milligrams of D-bol per day does not mean someone else can take 15 milligrams. Yes, I said that correctly. Some people cannot even handle 15 milligrams of D-bol per day, while some people can take 150. I'm going to end it there. I hope you like this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It doesn't cost you anything. And check out my other videos.